2 weeks ago, my 8-year-old son suddenly asked me, "What is apartheid, Mom?" They had been discussing about Nelson Mandela. I tried to explain that some years ago in South Africa, some had the view that black people had not the same right and they could not be, for example, on the same buses or hospitals. I could see like his face is frowning a bit and really looking very puzzled. It made me realize things that existed just a few years back could look so strange and even impossible to understand. And later on that evening I was thinking, I wonder what are the things that exist today that in like 10 or 15 or 20 years ago we will look upon them and say, but how was it possible? How could we accept that, or how could that exist?
I will start from the basic to discuss what is diversity, what is inclusion. Inclusion might be a new concept to you. And I will explain to you why is it important to have both a diverse as well as an inclusive organization. What are the best business benefits that comes with such an organization.
Diversity for me in Skanska is that we have a company where we have people with different backgrounds, different genders, different ethnicity, different type of educational backgrounds, different ages.
Inclusion is different. Inclusion is actively trying to get everybody involved in the team. You can be diverse. You can have a diverse population in your company and not be inclusive and keep some people out and only keep an inner circle in. That's no good.
When it comes to inclusion, we need to make sure that we have a culture that actually encourages everybody to contribute with their backgrounds and their perspectives.
For instance, if you have a team or an organization where there's a lot of diversity within the organization in terms of gender, ethnicity, age, background, preference, lifestyle, etc. But in combination with a culture that isn't at all mature or able to deal with these differences, you would have a situation where on paper, if you took like a snapshot picture, it would be good in terms of diversity. Wow, look at all this diversity, this is great. But looking at other indicators, you would see that this is not a nice place to be at. This is a place where people exclude each other. So there would be frustration, conflicts, people would leave. The prerequisite to be creative and innovative would be really low. And of course, the overall performance wouldn't be particularly good either. You know, my whole life I've been working with diversity and inclusion in some way. So it's really something that I think is really, really important to the society at large and to Skanska as a company. This is the means to become better at what we do, really. So it's not something separate from that. It's really, this will help us become even more successful.
Standardizing people, trying unifying them, we are able, in a very simple way, to kill the different way of thinking, the initiatives, the creativity, the different point of view.
The other position would be that you have a team or a group or a company where people are really similar to one another, where you have people of the same gender, the same ethnicity, educational background, preference, lifestyle, etc. So it's a homogeneous team.
You know, in the construction industry in general, we've been choosing mainly for the last, I don't know how many years, from a very narrow pool, basically of engineering students, and they typically look the same. They look like me.
What we would have there is not so good diversity statistics, but we would have high work satisfaction, we would have low in terms of employee turnover. We might have a strong employer brand, but quite narrow. And the overall performance could be good, but what this group is lacking is to be innovative and creative.
I mean, if you think about it, if everybody is very similar, their answers are going to be the same.
Times are changing. We need to understand our clients, and to understand them we need to mirror them in terms of diversity. To be a leader in your industry, you really need to take the opportunity to be a leader of the change and create a culture where employees want to be.
First is just to attract the right people. And once they are in the company, we have to make sure that they are really respected so they can work with their full potential.
We also need to make sure that they are encouraged to contribute so that we do tap into the full potential of a more diverse workforce.
What we want to achieve is teams that are both diverse as well as inclusive. And often we forget about the inclusion part. We say that yes, there's a lot of benefits coming from diversity, but not necessarily so. It really depends on what kind of culture we have. If we have an inclusive culture, we would have high work satisfaction, healthy employee turnover, strong employer brand, the prerequisite to be creative and innovative, and also the capacity to change in line with changing business environment. In this framework, it has kind of an internal perspective because it really focuses on group performance. What we have in addition, of course, is also the fact that we most probably also reflect our clients and customers.
Globalization means that we have a much more diverse society in which we operate. We have many more cultures present in all of our home markets.
We've got to get ready. We've got to look like the communities in which we work, and we've got to get on with it now, or the future's going to be on us, and we are not going to win. We're not going to be the great company that we are now.
And of course, it's really also about who we want to be, who we are, what are our values, our identity as an organization.
Based on our values like honesty, openness, respect, acceptance, we should be different.
I would say that if we would not work with diversity inclusion in Skanska, maybe 5-10 years from now, we would look back and others would look at us and say, what's going on? How is it possible that they don't have a more diverse workforce? So I want to make sure that when we look back on ourselves a few years from now, that we could feel proud that we have made this journey and not only followed the trends, but rather taken the lead in changing the face of construction in general, but also being a leader in society and making sure that we contribute to changing the world even there.